Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so we've gone through your sources, and today we're hitting something really fundamental. It's about the air we breathe. We all kind of think natural means clean, right?
Right.
But the stuff we're looking at today, it suggests that whole idea might be, well, fundamentally flawed.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
We've got this remarkable tech claim on one side, documentation for an air purifier system, promising basically technical perfection, air that's six-free, they call it.
Mm.
But then at the same time, we're digging into this detailed argument that the air we usually romanticize, like deep forest air, it might actually be a hazard, a complex medical hazard for a lot of people.
And that's the fascinating part, isn't it? The total split in philosophy. You've got technology aiming for this flawless, almost inert environment, engineered air.
Right.
And then you have this biological take on natural air saying it's actually too active,
Yeah.
biologically, chemically, just too much going on for, let's say, optimal human health. So our job today really is to unpack both. First, these pretty intense engineering claims behind the Aeris-free maze purifier.
Got it.
And second, the honestly surprising evidence suggesting that, moving to the mountains for your health, maybe it's more of a romantic fantasy, not a medical procedure,
As well.
especially as we get older.
Okay, let's definitely start with the tech. The purifier. The documentation for this Air 6-free maze purifier,
Yeah.
it's pretty aggressive in its claims.
It is.
It says the goal is removing every particle harmful to life, so people no longer act as living filters. I mean, for you listening, that sounds almost like science fiction. How does this thing supposedly achieve perfection? Can you walk us through the design?
Sure. So the designers are really framing it as something new, a new paradigm, they call it. It's more than a filter. That's their line.
Other than a filter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea isn't just trapping stuff. It's about neutralizing it, fixing it permanently. And they lay out this 5-step process. Step 1 is, pretty recognizable. The ionization zone plus dual electrostatic pre-filters. This grabs the big stuff dust, pollen, microplastics, VOCs, some gases. It's kind of the first line of defense.
Right, the bulk removal. That makes sense. But, typical filters often struggle with the really small, dangerous things, nanotoxins, viruses. How does the system supposedly handle those?
That's where it starts getting, let's say, more advanced. Step 2. The secondary ionization stage. This is apparently critical.
Okay.
The sources claim this stage doesn't just filter, it actively neutralizes pathogens, breaks down complex chemical toxins, uses high-intensity ionization. And here's the really important bit. It charges all the remaining particles, every aerosol, every molecule, gives them a specific negative polarity.
Negative polarity. Why negative?
Well, it's essentially tagging every bit of remaining junk in the air, no matter how small, preparing it for capture in the next stage.
Okay, so if ionization is like chemical and biological warfare on the contaminants, step 3 sounds like the prison. They call it the sacrificial black box.
Exactly. Step 3 is the electrostatic collection maze box. Think of it like a molecular prison, very sophisticated. Since everything left was forced into that negative charge in step 2,
Right.
it's now pulled really aggressively towards positively charged plates inside this box. It gets deposited onto them. And the claim is this toxic matter is solidly plated and irreversibly fixed.
Irreversibly fixed. That's a strong phrase. What kind of evidence do they offer for that? Are we sure it's not just stuck there for a while? Maybe comes loose later?
That is the core technological promise, apparently. The documents really emphasize that these pollutants get chemically bonded, maybe even fused to the plates. So the collection is permanent. That's why it's sacrificial.
Oh, okay.
This whole black box unit, it's designed to be swapped out when it's full, taken away. So the contaminants are theoretically gone for good from your home environment.
It does sound like more than just filtering. It's like environmental engineering on a small scale. Is there a final step, like quality control?
Yeah, step 4 is the physical backstop. They call it the maze effect. Even after the electrostatic part, the air is forced through this path with lots of sharp turns, like a maze.
Okay.
The physics of it means any tiny particles left, the ultrafine stuff, they just can't make the turns. They smack into the walls and get stuck, absorbed.
So mechanical capture, too.
Right, a physical failsafe. And the result of all this, step 5, is the claimed output air that's supposedly 100% pure, 6-free, as they say, dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, and heavy metal-free.
Wow. Okay, it's definitely impressive marketing for the purifier. Positioning this engineered air is the key to unlocking humanity's lifespan shackles. Big claim.
Huge claim.
But hang on, here's something crucial we need to ask. This other source, the one arguing forest air is dangerous, is it connected to the company selling this purifier? Is there a link?
That's a fair question. From what we can tell, the sources seem independent. The critique of natural air reads like a standalone analysis, a correct observation of facts and mechanisms. It details environmental threats people usually ignore.
Okay.
But when you put the two documents side by side, you get this really stark contrast. The tech seems designed to solve the exact problems the natural environment is apparently creating.
Which brings us right to that counterintuitive idea.
Exactly. The core of this deep dive, really.
We have to challenge that basic assumption. Fresh air is best. We've all heard it, right? If you have allergies, chronic illness, move somewhere clean, rural, mountains, forest.
The classic advice.
But this source, forest air is not best, flat out says that belief is based on feeling. Romanticism, not hard facts.
It's a huge paradigm shift, thinking about contamination this way.
Right.
We usually fixate on man-made stuff, smog, industrial pollution. But this argument is, okay, forest air might lack car exhaust, but it's actually chemically and biologically, chaotic. And they list 5 specific, often invisible dangers found in these pristine natural settings.
Okay, let's break those down, starting with the biological stuff, more than just the pollen we see in spring.
Definitely. First, high pollen density. We know pollen triggers allergies, obviously. But the sources stress the smaller particles, PM10 and PM50 range. They argue those are what drive chronic low-level inflammation, immune system exhaustion over the long haul.
Okay, so ongoing irritation.
Exactly. Second, and maybe even more insidious, universal mold spores. Forests are damp, lots of decaying stuff, leaves, wood, perfect breeding grounds for mold. And that releases massive amounts of invisible spores. Breathing those in constantly, long-term, it's linked to persistent bronchitis, serious fatigue, even immune system confusion. Your body's constantly fighting this invisible invader.
Wow. So that damp, earthy smell we like, it's partly a giant spore cloud bombarding us. Okay, what about physical stuff floating around?
Right. Third is suspended natural dust. This is an industrial dust. It's tree bark bits, animal dander, lots of it, insect fragments, soil dust kicked up by wind or animals.
Just nature's debris.
Pretty much. And it's unfiltered. It still causes constant tiny abrasions, irritation in your nose, your lungs. But then point 4 gets really surprising. Natural acid alkaline gases.
Wait, like the terpenes, the pine scent, the stuff often sold as aromatherapy, the phytocides?
Precisely. Phytocides are basically plant defense chemicals. Plants release these volatile organic compounds, VOCs naturally, terpenes, some benzene compounds. For most healthy people, maybe it's relaxing short term, but the sources are clear. For sensitive folks, people with neurosensitivity, these natural VOCs can cause real systemic problems. Headaches, dizziness, fatigue, even heart palpitations.
That completely flips the script on clean mountain air.
Seriously.
Nature's chemistry is powerful.
Yeah.
And constantly breathing it in isn't automatically good for everyone.
Okay, and there was a 5th contaminant. This one sounds maybe the most unpleasant. The 5th point. Animal metabolic microparticles, basically airborne poop. From animals, birds, insects. It's just unavoidable in a wild environment. These particles are tiny, colorless, odorless, but when you inhale them, they can carry microbes, and they're potent immune triggers.
So the cute woodland creatures are polluting the air with invisible, biologically active waste.
It's still pollution, just 100% natural pollution. That's the argument.
The irony here is just stunning. That purifier tech we talked about. The heavenly paradise environment, they call it.
Yeah.
It specifically claims to remove or block every single one of those 5 natural contaminants.
Exactly. Pollen, mold, natural dust, the VOCs, the animal particles.
It's engineered precisely to eliminate the so-called flaws of a living ecosystem.
It's the ultimate sterile counterpoint. The tech perspective argues your body wastes energy fighting off the constant low-level stress of natural air. Energy that could go towards, repair and longevity.
Okay, let's connect this to the bigger picture then. The sources get really specific about older adults. Seniors moving to these uncontrolled natural places for health reasons, it's framed as a serious risk based on correct observation of facts and mechanisms. Why are older people supposedly so vulnerable in that idyllic wilderness setting?
Yeah, this really brings up the whole issue of human vulnerability versus environmental control. For older adults, that constant low-level irritation combined with unstable climate factors, it can be really damaging. The sources highlight three main vulnerabilities.
Okay, what's the first? Immune response.
First is lowered immunity. It's just a fact of aging for many. So seniors are much more susceptible to that mix of mold spores, high pollen, those irritating natural fumes we just discussed.
Right.
That constant exposure can just overwhelm a weaker immune system. It can quickly lead to chronic problems, bad bronchitis, constant allergic rhinitis, just that general wearing fatigue. The body never really gets a break.
And the climate risk. It sounds like it's way more than just being uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely. Second is climate and humidity issues. This is presented as a direct, almost mechanical threat. Forest areas are often damp, right, which means more mold.
Yep.
And they often have big temperature swings day to night. For older adults, this kind of environment makes poor circulation worse. It can trigger serious joint pain, rheumatism. And critically, the sources claim this stress, especially cold and damp, actually slows down blood flow to the brain measurably.
Slows cerebral blood flow. That's the specific and pretty terrifying risk.
It's presented as a key finding, yeah. Reduced blood flow upstairs, combined with the humidity and temperature changes. It significantly raises the risk of stroke. Also myocardial infarction, heart attack. In vulnerable older people, the environment itself is actively destabilizing their physiology.
Wow. Okay. And the third vulnerability.
Oh,
This
yeah.
seems like the one that turns a health problem into a potential catastrophe.
That's the really tragic part. Point 3, lack of medical resources. Simple logistics. If you're living up in a forest or mountain area, hospitals and emergency care are usually far away. So if an older person does have an acute event, a stroke, maybe a severe asthma attack triggered by all that mold or pollen, even just a bad fall,
Yeah.
the sources stress that the delay in getting help often means missing that crucial golden window for effective treatment. The death rate for common emergencies spikes just because of geography.
So the environment adds stress, and the isolation means when that stress causes a crisis, there's often no safety net in time. The sources really hammer this point, challenging that whole myth of the super healthy, long-lived person hiding out in the wilderness.
They're very direct about it. They state that real-world data on long-lived communities, it doesn't point to the deep wilderness at all.
So where do long-lived people tend to be found?
In environments that are controllable, places with stable climates, good access to medical care, reliable food, and crucially clean, controllable water and air, stability and control seem key.
Okay, so if we pull all this together, the takeaway from these sources really shifts the focus. It's not about finding some mythical, pure, natural spot. The keys to longevity seem to be low toxin accumulation, stable stress levels, a simple diet, and this is the kicker, pure, controllable air, which the sources explicitly define as not the same as natural wild air.
Exactly. We've gone from just worrying about, traffic fumes and factories to realizing that the lovely pine-scented air you breathe on a hike might actually be taxing your immune system with mold, pollen, and potent natural chemicals. The big shift for you, the listener, is really rethinking value, moving from automatically valuing natural air to maybe valuing controllable, purified air because of these specific microscopic threats found even in supposedly pristine places.
This whole analysis points towards a future, maybe, where optimal human health requires an environment that's more constructed and maintained, rather than just found in nature. If we're really aiming for peak longevity, maybe we actually have to build the air we breathe.
And that leaves us with a really profound question for you to think about. If technology can create verifiably purer air than what nature typically offers, does the future of human health, maybe even extended lifespan, depend more on engineering our immediate environment than trying to return to some idealized version of nature? Do our biological limits ultimately demand a kind of sealed, perfect system?
That is, a fascinating and maybe slightly daunting thought to end on. Thank you for walking us through that.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
The Air 6 Free Maze Purifier is the world's only device that truly filters toxic airborne particulates and aerosols. Its core design returns the duty of air cleaning to machines, so people no longer act as living filters. Air 6 Free means dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, and heavy metal-free. 5 purification steps. Step 1, ionization zone. Dual electrostatic pre-filters. Captures dust, pollen, plastic, microparticles, VOCs, and toxic gases. Step 2, secondary ionization stage. Neutralizes pathogens and toxins. Charges all remaining particles and aerosols negative. Prepares them for final capture. Step 3 Electrostatic collection maze box. The sacrificial black box. Permanently locks away ultrafine pollutants. Aerosol droplets lose water in airflow. Residual toxins deposit onto positive plates. Solidly plated, irreversibly fixed. Step 4 Maze effect. Forces airflow through repeated sharp turns. Nanotoxins collide with surfaces and are completely adsorbed. Step 5 Output pure toxin-free pure air. System delivers the purest air on Earth. Dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free. Smoke-free, odor-free, heavy metal-free. Conclusion. This is more than a filter. It is the one true key to unlocking humanity's lifespan shackles.